it should be up now. So, hello. Or just pretend nobody's there and go like, hello, Lara.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
We are live. So, hello, viewers, if you're live or listening on the podcast or rewatching this on YouTube. We are launching this, trying to launch this podcast thing to have like an EU based on this side of the world podcast. Um, yeah, and for this first episode, we're going to talk about our experiences in Egypt for Insomnia Egypt. So
Yes.
I know you already went to Egypt before me, which was for the Maker Faire in March.
In March,
Yeah,
yes. It was in March, yeah. Yes.
tell us all about it.
Uh, it, the difference between Insomnia now and Maker Faire is not that big. We got invited, we got there, enjoyed the event, and some free time, and we got back. Yeah.
That's a very narrow, compact
I
story.
know, but I'm also really bad at telling
Or
stories.
and we're doing a podcast
I
with
know.
video.
Yeah, but we wanted to talk about Insomnia, not
Yeah,
about Maker Faire.
that's true. That's true. Um, for just to provide a little backstory for people, we have worked together now a few times in a short period of time. You contacted me for the Fulgrim cosplay
Mhm.
um, because you wanted big bad smoke out of it, and you knew me
Yes.
because of smoke.
Yes.
I knew you because of Zelda stuff. And we never really talked or even met each other just
At
before that.
Gamescom 2004, 15, 14,
15. Yeah.
15,
15,
yeah.
15 was my first one.
No. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around that.
I started cosplay in 2015 at Dutch Comic Con, and then in August I heard about Gamescom, and then I went there and I built the Halo Reach cosplay of Emil in 4 weeks. And I'm never doing that ever again because that was just 4 weeks in. I lived and breathed in my and ate in my workshop, and that was still downstairs in my no windows workshop. So it was just a concrete box, uh, and it was major depressing. And oh, hello, light. Let's not. Let's stay there. And that's the first. But I don't remember meeting you there. To be honest, did I met you in
No,
2015?
it was in 2016, I think,
That could have
when
been.
you were the Iron Man.
Yeah, but then I entered
Yeah.
the cosplay competition there. I was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't at the back. Did you enter that competition? I don't
No,
remember.
no, no.
No.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, we just worked together on your Fulgrim project, which was awesome. And then Insomnia, and now next month already another event. That's Tweakers Gaming Live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Insomnia, they asked us both to go there, and it was a huge event for Egypt, Cairo, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Stuff really went wrong for me already on day one when I was here in the Netherlands. You know this story, but
I know. Yeah.
I need to tell it. I'm just gonna
Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna because I don't want to offend people, so I'll just call the woman gremlin. That way I don't offend anybody. But so I'll tell this to the audience because you already know. Um,
Yes.
I have the whole. I brought my Shrike Anna cosplay. It was packed in two suitcases, and in one suitcase was the rifle. So it could be dismantled into 3 parts total. The buttstock could come off, and the front end of the barrel could come off. But it was still pretty long, and it only fit diagonally in my suitcase. And of course, if it went through an X-ray scan, then it might look suspicious. So I was like, yeah, maybe I should call ahead in security. So I called security the day before we flew out, and I got redirected to this office and got redirected to that office and this office and that security and la 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 la. Eventually, I had my answer. It was allowed because it's not metal, so it won't ring off any metal detectors. And it was just allowed because it was a piece of plastic, and it was only allowed in, like, not my carry-on but my normal luggage for in the hold. But on the one condition that I do tell the lady at the desk where you drop your suitcases off. So really early in the morning, we're there at, I think, 6. Yeah, at 6 in the morning, because our flight left at 7. All the suitcases were in, except then for the last one, my suitcase with the gun. So I'm like, hey, lady, I have a gun in here, not a real gun, fake gun. So I just explained the whole story, that I called security and everything. And the lady behind the counter was actually pretty cool. She only had to verify everything, because I am a stranger after all. So she has no reason to believe my word. So she made some calls, and I was like, okay, this seems to all check out, and we'll go down to the hold to security, and they will check it out, and if it was cool, then they wrap it with a security tag, so the next people at next airports know it might look strange, but there's nothing weird or alarming inside of it. But her boss, the team lead, was sitting a few desks to the right, and she overheard the whole thing, primarily the word weapon, and then all the things around it she casually forgot. So she walked her way to us, and she started making a ruckus, and they're like, no, and it's guns, and this can't be, and blah, 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 blah. And she made this whole trouble. She made such a big trouble that we missed our flight because she wanted airport police to come and check out the fake gun in question. Airport police came. They cleared me, they checked me out, and they were like, okay, it's fine, get it through baggage hold, because there is security and they will take care of the rest, this is fine. The police officer in question, though, got called away because there was a bus accident out front, something I could not see from there because I had no clear view, so I heard from the bus accident from this officer. So he couldn't come with me, but the original lady that helped me overheard this and saw this, and she was like, okay, we have verification of a police officer that it's okay. So just as she almost wanted to clear my suitcase with the Shrike Anagon, the team leader comes back and is like, hey, what are you doing, and why are you clearing this gun, and blah 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 blah. And her co-worker, of course, said like, no, they came and it's all fine. And I also explained like, yeah, the police officer came, but it was a bus accident outside, so he had to go. And yeah, that was not real police, that was fake police. And I'm like, yeah, sure, there's always fake police at the airport, I see him all the time. Then we missed our flight because she didn't believe me, my girlfriend, or her employees. So, you know, I don't know why that was. So we had to wait for that bus accident to be cleared out, and wait for another airport police officer to come again, visually inspect it again, and telling the team lead to her face that this was all right. And then we had, I had to wait in a corner, but I refused to wait there. I wanted to wait at the counter of the gremlin, so that the police officer would be standing like in her booth next to her. And he came, and I opened the bag. I had my Instagram ready and be like, yo, this is what we do, we cosplay, this is from Overwatch, and this is the gun in question. And all he did, this is what he did. He grabbed it, was like, Yeah, no, this is fine. Get it through security. And the woman from the airport was like, she was like, I would pay to know the thoughts through her mind. Because she was like hella salty. And I grabbed my suitcase and I put it on her belt, but her belt was only for the business class. So she was like, "No, I'm not doing this. You have to go back to the original lady, and she will help you." And blah 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 blah. So she was just like really salty. She lost the battle of battles, and they booked us on a different flight for free. Because if we had to pay, then fuck that shit. I would like really cause a ruckus there. But in the end, what the original flight plan was is me and my girlfriend from Amsterdam to Vienna, and Lara and her boyfriend also to Vienna, and from there play Mario Party on the plane to Cairo. But due to the gremlin, that never came to be. Yeah, and then after all that trouble in the Netherlands with just one lady who had something up her ass, um, Egypt is military controlled. There are checkpoints everywhere, metal detectors, random car searches. They are really about weapons and all that stuff. We arrive in Egypt. I see our suitcases and it has a security tag because it's been labeled in the online data that there is a weapon in there. It's not a weapon, but it's labeled as a weapon. Uh, Egypt security or police or whatever he was asking, like he was walking around the terminal, like Mr. Vine, Mr. Vine. I was like, okay, this vaguely sounds like my name, and I know what this is about. So I went to the guy and was like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, do you have anything suspicious in your suitcase? And I was like, maybe, but I know what this is about. It's like, he was pretty cool. He was like, can you explain? And I was like, it's a weapon from the game Overwatch, and we are here for Insomnia gaming in Egypt. He knew the event, so all he wanted is like, okay, there will be a special agent. You'll get access to our Wi-Fi. I want to see a clip from this game that you're cosplaying as, and if it's verified that we see that it's from a game, it'll be cool, and you can leave. And within 5 minutes, I was outside. And that for a military guy, and like I'm bringing in guns, and he was like within 5 minutes it was done deal, and I was inside Egypt. So my trip went like great on day one. I was glad we finally came to the hotel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had absolutely no problems.
No, of course not.
It was just between the connecting flights a little bit too less time, but we ran, and so it worked. I lost my pin, but I found it again.
It was on Daniel's foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we left home, I only had a coffee because I was like, yeah, I'll grab something at the airport and I'll be fine. I'll eat my breakfast there. But yeah, I only ate after all of that, and then when we arrived in Frankfurt, luckily there was a sandwich shop right across the gate where we had to board to Vienna or to Cairo. So that was my luck. And then we also got an in-flight meal, so that was good. But yeah, as far as Insomnia Egypt taking care of all the financial stuff, it all worked out, and yeah, it was good.
Yes.
Except for certain people at the airport that just didn't cooperate with me. And they didn't want to believe me, and they think they saw fake police because, airports are full of fake police.
You hired the guy
Yes. Yeah, oh
to
yes.
come and tell.
In full
Hey.
body, like gear, everything.
Yes.
Saying like police. And it's like, yeah, that's my guy.
Who knows? Could be.
Nah, I think this was just her on a power trip, because the original lady that helped me, as soon as her team lead started talking, she was like rolling eyes, and when I saw the rolling eyes, I was like, oh no, this is not
moet er nog
good.
steeds een klacht indienen.
Yeah, we still need to file a complaint. we have.
Oh yeah,
We
do that.
have the name of the team lead. We have the name of the girl who helped us, and we have the time. So Angela all put it down because this was ridiculous. When everything checks out, security checks it out, police check it out twice, and your employee who calls different departments, they all verify that it checks out, and then you are the only one that doesn't want it for whatever reason, then yeah, screw that. We have to file a complaint.
Yes.
But yeah, at the Insomnia really did take good care of us. We still got plenty of off time because we arrived on Wednesday, and then had pretty much the whole day to ourselves. We met up with people you knew from Maker Faire
Mm-hmm.
with Fuad. Shout out to Fuad if you're here, or if you're
And
watching this
Hakim.
on YouTube. And Hakim. Yeah, then we just had food because we really needed food. And yeah, and the next day the event only started at, what was it, 6?
6 at 6, yeah.
Yeah, so we just did some swimming and had some desperados.
Or 2.
Or 2 or 3.
No, only 2.
Was that guy already there on the first day who like was eyeing you all the time? There was this I don't know if he is from
Oh god.
India or Pakistan, but just he looked from like that region, if you can call it that. But yeah, he was often like poolside and just staring at Lara like.
Also at Angela, not only at me.
Oh no, true. Also, yeah, but creepy staring like. Oh, and we caught him that he was recording us.
Yeah, but that was on.
Yes.
What
He was like pretending to go like messaging. It was fake messaging, but his light was
Yeah,
on like
like this.
constantly. So he was recording, and it was like,
Oh,
yeah, like that, but less bright. And he was like, I'm pretending to message, and like I don't even want to know what he did with that video, but I think he knew that we like knew what was going on because everybody kept looking at him, and just imagine you doing fake video and seeing the table you're videoing, 4 people going like. Like, oh, okay,
Oh.
they caught me.
Yeah, but I think that was on the second day of the event.
Yeah, but he was there all days.
I didn't. So nah.
Yeah,
We just.
he was creepy. He was creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the event itself, we can talk about day one, but day one was quite uneventful. It was kind of calm, but the organizers also told us that because it, people were getting off work and everything. That's why they didn't do it the entire day. So it started at 6 p.m. and it lasted that evening till 2 a.m. They were still building up some stuff and looked good. It looked like an actual convention. And I heard that like Igicon was smaller, much smaller.
Yeah, Igicon is different.
Yeah, different and
Not different. Because this is more like the classic gaming convention.
yeah, exactly. It's just like a big hall. You have your stands everywhere. You can just crisscross through all the hallways and this exhibition center was also fairly new. I think this was the first big event like this in this exhibition center because it was so new. Like almost every Uber ride we took, they drove wrong because they all couldn't find it.
Oh yeah.
Not even on their Google Maps, because then it would go off a road that didn't exist. So they just didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up in the car market, where people wanted to buy the crates of Vulgrim. And our Uber went shouting in Arabic, telling everybody to kindly F off.
Yeah. The first day was still pretty nice.
Yeah.
We just wore the Castle Crashers.
Yeah,
We had
true. Yeah,
a lot of fun.
we brought. I could borrow Castle Crashers heads made out of thick upholstery foam from a friend of mine, Clueless Cosplay. And the good thing is they're made out of like upholstery foam. So I took those vacuum bags, chucked them in, and put a vacuum on, and it was just sort of like a flat package. And then I brought the dumb fish weapon and the sword, and we just packed that up, and we just walked around on day one in stupid Castle Crashers cosplay. But still, everybody knew who we were as cosplayed
That's
as.
true.
Everybody knew it, so it's like, oh, Castle
Yes.
Crashers, let me get a selfie. And yeah, it was a good first day. Good first day.
Yes. The dinosaur was the highlight.
Oh yeah. Okay, what I can do is I can maybe put like highlight photos if I put this up on YouTube, and I can put like pictures in here, and if people
Yeah.
rewatch it, they can see pictures. But for the live stream, you'll just have to go to our social media feeds and all that stuff. Yeah, day two. We had
The contest.
the contest. We had
Yeah.
the prejudging, the contest itself. You could tell it was their first time for Insomnia Egypt. The stage was well built, but they lowered the front part of the stage by like this much, and I had a misstep on it, and most of the cosplayers had a misstep. Nobody fell, but yeah, it was kind of a weird decision to have like the huge stage, and then like the small walkway, if you can call it that, or like the frontal stage, was like this much lower. And if you saw cosplayers like Osama, who was in a Fallout cosplay in a T60 armor, he didn't eventually walk over it, but others did. But imagine if Osama didn't even see that step, he would have gone like.
Yes.
So for the next one, and I still need to tell Ahmed this also I want to write like a small report. Is like keep the stage at the same level and don't have any cables running over it, because there was like an outlet also there and people could trip over the cables. Just keep the stage free of junk and keep it on the same level, because they had so many things planned. Even my workshop was also planned on that, but it got moved, alas. But I think my workshop being moved to the cosplay area was actually a good thing, because everybody could like sit in a circle and be like more close up instead of in the audience with me higher and not seeing what I do. So in the end, that was a good call, unless they could have had cameras on me. But yeah, for the next one, their stage needs to be just a few tweaks, and then it would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the contest itself took pretty long.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have a term over there for people watching, and they refer to time as Egyptian time, and that's meaning it's like, yeah, it might be in an hour and could be 5. So
or maybe tomorrow.
maybe tomorrow. The thing is, what I am used to, and I think what you're used to also with contest, is you have to be at this and this time at prejudging. You will get prejudged, and then you do your thing, and then you are at the booth or at the stage or backstage at that and that time, and then it will begin. It's pretty structured, and if you don't show up at prejudging by this time, well, then you didn't sign up or you're disqualified because, well, you weren't there. But in Egypt, it's like, nah, I'll just show up now, and can I do my prejudging, and then I'll leave, and I'll do my thing, and it's all really loose. So for an Egyptian, I guess if you're used to that, it's normal. But for us, coming out of like our ways, that kind of clashed, because some people had their prejudging after they went on stage already, because they just didn't show up on time in the prejudging. So that was kind of a thing for me.
Yeah. Some of the people from the stage weren't even at the after prejudging.
Yeah,
How do you call it?
Post prejudging.
Post prejudging. It just went upstage and then that's it.
Yeah.
We didn't even have the names of them, so they
No,
were
and I
just
think
out.
only we added a few names, and I think we took off one name who just didn't show up at either. Maybe their cosplay wasn't finished or whatever. That's always possible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I have to say though, because we were talking before we went there, because you were already there and you already like touched upon and saw their cosplay community and their you already told me that materials are scarce. Uh, it's a pretty poor country. Um, Materials are hard to find or just expensive.
Hmm.
And stuff like Warbler or something is like forget it. You're not gonna find it there. And even if you did,
Don't use it.
it's don't use it because it's like hot as hell outside, and your armor will just go like "Fleh." So don't. But like stuff like resin, what we can just find anywhere, and we kind of take for granted because we can just resin on Google, and you see a whole shopping list, and you can buy it anywhere and all that stuff. They really can't. They just don't have it, and to face those difficulties of not even finding your materials easy, and still representing in the way that they did, that was pretty amazing. I heard that
Hmm.
foam is sometimes even hard to come by. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and stuff like hot glue is also kind of because I during my workshop I asked like if they have like the high temperature hot glue, but they just don't have access to it. They only have like the crappy stuff, as they said. But then if you walk outside, then it goes, and it just melts.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
And
that's
also 3D printers also not
yeah
accessible.
yeah.
Not really.
They said they blocked it because they don't want people to like make money out of
Mm.
it or have their own little export business. They also blocked all video cards, they said, because they don't want people to
Oh
do
yeah.
Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
So, and I was doing my workshop with the smoke machine, and they said, like, where do you get your parts? I was like, AliExpress, because it's, cheap and free shipping and but any form of electronics gets stopped over there, and I think they taxed it 60%. Just everything. It's just all electronics. Even like if you grab up a 10 pack of LEDs for almost no money, then they just schmack like tax. So that even that is hard to import. Like PlayStation 4, if you think you can get it cheap over there, no. They
No.
had trouble getting the PS4s in for the con itself, and they had to pay like a lot of money to get those in for the event.
Yeah, I mean, electronics and phones are a little bit cheaper here than here,
Yeah.
but when you go back, you need to pay taxes again, so you have the same price.
Yeah. I don't know. My cat is doing strange stuff. Yeah, she's sleeping. Don't die. I'm sorry. My cat is doing strange stuff. Ah, well, yeah. But I have to say, they when it was time for like prejudging, you could still see that they are a passionate community. You can really tell that the free games are popular, like League of Legends,
Fortnite?
Fortnite,
Oh.
that kind of stuff.
Uh,
Because yeah, Fortnite. Well, you can't deny the online player base. It's huge. So a lot of kids there, a lot of Fortnite kids. Didn't see any Fortnite cosplay or anything like that. They did have the dance offs there.
yeah.
That was pretty cool. Um, But yeah, a lot of League of Legends cosplay. I think League of Legends cosplay dominated the stage.
Yes. Yes.
But also, what I liked the most actually is the mentality of the. Okay, just for the information of
Yeah.
viewers,
I
Lara has had a bad cough since Egypt because of
yes.
Cairo is now the #1 most polluted city in the world.
Yes.
At night, when you look up, there are no stars.
You can see stars, but
Yes,
maybe not.
they are there. You can see the
Mm,
North Star. I saw the North Star, like
yeah.
the brightest one. That's the only one I saw. So, and that's not because it's like a cloudy day. It's all pollution. It was a combination of light pollution, noise pollution, and just the air pollution. So, I also had a bad cough, but it kind of went away. But yeah,
Yeah, it
she
suddenly
still
appeared
has
again.
it. She still has
Yeah. And now
it.
I was totally fine an hour ago, and now it's back.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Are you nervous?
No. I don't know. Maybe it's the talking.
Maybe, maybe.
Hmm.
Oh shit! I didn't get any water.
Oh, I have.
No, I don't. Yeah, I thought I did, but lesson for the next stream. Yeah, the thing that um, surprised me most and what was really good was the Predator cosplayer
Mhm.
because even though she didn't win any prize, it's just she wanted to make was it she, by the way? I'm unsure now. I think it
Yes.
was.
Yeah.
I might
Yes.
be wrong, but I think it was a she. She wanted to make
Yeah.
a Predator cosplay, and having like the most limited of materials, and probably also not the funds to make it. I know plenty of people who just wouldn't do it because doing a Predator cosplay is already pretty high up there, but
Mm.
she just wanted to do it, and she wanted to be on stage in a Predator cosplay. So what she did was just make it out of whatever she could find, some clothing, some rags, and a lot of cardboard, and just shape it into all the stuff that she could find on reference. And she made a Predator, and she went on stage, and she just did her thing. So
Yeah.
that's I can imagine you could easily want to give up if you don't have the money for it, and even if you did have the money for it, you find the materials to be hard to find or also really overpriced. So I was talking to one of the League of Legends cosplayers, and she said her outfit costed about 2,000 Egyptian pounds, but she only made 1,600 Egyptian pounds a month. And she
Mhm.
probably has to pay for her house and school and food and all that stuff. I mean, just to give you a reference, if you don't know the currency conversion, about 1,000 Egyptian pounds is about 50 euros. So yeah, she
Yes.
didn't she didn't make a lot in a month, but she still, she took her time. She bought the materials she needed, and she made the cosplay she wanted, and they went on stage. So yeah, that there is little money and materials are scarce. That doesn't stop the Egyptian cosplayers. So that's
Yeah.
to be commended.
And they have a lot of fun.
Yes,
A lot
they
of fun.
they they do.
Yeah. Yes.
They're crazy in a good way.
Yes. That's true.
And they take a lot of pictures.
Like I don't think I was at a convention in Germany or Netherlands where people had so much fun. Like
Yes.
even I don't I don't want to call it bad cosplays, but well, it's not like highest level of cosplay where people just stand there and like, hey, hello, what's up?
I'm
But
here
they're
for
just like,
I'm here
hey,
for
I'm
my
here.
yeah, but that's also because they're the cosplay scene in Egypt is not that big yet. I hope
Yeah,
it grows even bigger, and events like Insomnia do help, because I'm sure that there were when we were sitting in the front row, there were a lot of kids sitting on the
oh yeah.
floor, uh, like almost at the stage, just looking at all the cosplayers. And I know plenty of people always get inspired by going to a convention, seeing cosplay and knowing about cosplay, but never really going like, I don't know, maybe I should start, maybe it's kind of dumb, or maybe I'll embarrass myself. And then they see it and they see how people interact. And I was talking with this girl, also one of the cosplayers. She was always really introverted, and she didn't do cosplay yet, but she just went. I think it was to EGCon she went, and there she just found out like people right up her alley. It's like, hey, these people like the same stuff that I like, and hey, these guys are like just as weird as me, and hey, they dress up in cosplay. What is this? Let's also try this. And now she's like no longer like, for her feeling introverted, and she does all this fun stuff with her friends. And I've never seen it at cons here before, but they paid good money for a ticket. It was an expensive price for them for a ticket, uh,
Yes.
and in the end, they were just grabbing a table and they were playing Jenga. They just whipped out the whole
Yeah.
stuff and they just played Jenga. They could have walked around and did photo shoots or whatever, but they were just happy to see their friends again. And
Yeah.
then you play Jenga.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? At a convention floor. So, hey.
Yeah, but also the convention was 12 hours every day, so
Yeah,
there was enough time.
there was enough time. The first day was from 6 to 2, and the second and third it was from 11 to 11. But
Hmm.
we never stayed from 11 to 11.
No,
I don't think I could have managed that long in my Shrike Anna
no.
cosplay with a helmet, even though they had like really good AC. But no,
Oh yeah, that was very
so
good.
far the best AC I have ever had on a convention floor. The only thing I ever had when I was warm there is when I really like had the helmet on, but that's only because like the visor catches all the breath and then it goes like really hot. But the rest was fairly comfortable. I don't know how Daniel experienced it.
He said while wearing Welcome for the first time, he said that it was worse than the other conventions, but I don't know why.
Yeah, he did.
Because I don't know.
Yeah, you were standing there. That it was way faster.
Yeah,
Maybe he was just
maybe it
used
was.
to the coolness and then being so insulated. Because it is,
Yeah,
it is,
could be. Yeah.
it is really thick what he's wearing. He's like the whole muscle suit and everything.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah.
well yeah, it as soon as that's the one thing though. I want to speak on that also is you know how here is the cosplay is not consent and you shouldn't like touch other people's cosplay
Oh, yeah.
and all that. That's not the case over there, and I even had to like call one guy over who just grabbed my rifle from the table. I was like, "You here now?" I just gave him
Yeah.
a quick explanation that's not cool. But yeah, that's also the thing over there. It's such a small community that everybody knows each other, and it's just normal to go like, hey, how did you do this? Instead of like here, it's pretty big and it's strangers, and it's like, hey, how did you do it? Can I touch your foam or whatever? Can I hold your weapon? There, it's just like a few of the guests to the convention just wanted to take pictures with me, and I know one guy was like, he just reached for my gun. I was like, like no body checks, like go away. Can I hold your gun? It's like no, why not? Because you already went for it. It's like go away. So yeah, I guess that's. I've had that also here, of course, but there it was kind of more frequent.
Yeah. Maybe it's also because our stuff is mostly built to just be at the convention and not given around or touched or
Yeah,
And
But
most of the props they build can be, you can make almost anything with it. So maybe that's the problem.
yeah, um, yeah, it comes down to what they already told us that they might go for it and just grab stuff because it's more normal there. But I did have some discussions with people being like, hey, you know, um, let's say you worked really hard on it, and I used the guy who just took it off the table as an example. Like if you break something, it might be really expensive for you to fix it. You already don't have a lot of money, and then some random guy comes over and he just grabs it. It's okay to say no. It's like if you don't want him to hold your prop or like grab your costume, just say like, hey, yo, it's not cool. Go. But
Yeah.
maybe I'm just easier like that or intimidating. Be like, go away.
So, this is the big guy with a weird coat coming, like, go away.
I had there was one guy who came up to me and he was like, "Hey, you're a guy." It's like, "Yes." It's like, "You're doing Shrike Anna." It's like, "I know." It's like, "That's a female character." It's like, "Yeah, so what?" He said, "Yeah, too bad Anna is not a male character." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'll just put on my mask." He was pretty opinionated, but he was really weird. It's like, you're a guy. It's like, oh yes. Let me check.
Hmm.
Hmm. Is that true? But yeah, when he went from you're a guy to hey, you're portraying a female character to hey, that female character should be a male just in the game already. I was like, no, that's
Or, may, or
not
maybe it was
apply.
a subtle question. Are you okay?
Then he could have asked me that.
Maybe,
I just kind of
maybe.
I kind of just laughed it away and told him like, yeah, I'm male Anna, so just call me Mana. So,
No, no.
so
No.
it was the quickest thing that I could think of. So,
Man,
and then we just took a selfie, and I was like, okay, goodbye. It's fine.
you
Yeah,
need to
that.
you need to program a red code in your mask. And when someone is like touching your gun, you need to switch it to red, and
Oh,
then
I could do that.
it's a good idea.
That's a good one actually. I can go like bleep and I'm like juice red. How are you feeling, Wayne? Beep. You can't see my face, but the color expresses my emotion.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
That's a good idea. I can program that in. Thank you. Or press it
But
again and have disco mode in that one.
oh.
Just like in Fulgrim. Then I have disco mode not only in my coat but in my helmet. Why didn't I think of this earlier? I programmed disco mode for you.
It's always like this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I still need to fix it anyway because I thought the helmet arrived safely here, but I opened it up and I was like, "Hey, it made it in one piece." Bleh. And then it was in two pieces. So it was just barely hanging on. But yeah, back to the day two. We had the cosplay
Oh
contest.
yeah.
They had beep, boop, beep, boop.
Yeah.
They had pretty big cash prizes
Oh
for
yes.
for Egypt, even for like the Netherlands. I mean, um, the just to give you a picture, the event we have next month where we're judging, the first prize is 600 euros, and plus some hardware or whatever. Over there, the first prize like was 15,000 Egyptian pounds, which kind of goes to 750 euros. So for
Yes.
them, it was that's a lot of money just for cosplay, and uh, I think the top 10 or top 15 people also got parts of their cosplay reimbursed.
Hmm.
So you had to show receipts, what ranking you finally had, and then you could like get maybe even 50% of your cosplay reimbursed to you on top of all the other prizes. So that I've never seen an event do that before. It's like, hey, you are part of the entertainment. Depending on your rank, you will get like reimbursed for the money for parts of your cosplay. That's the first time I'm seeing that.
Mm.
So that was quite surprising.
Yeah.
I think the yeah, go on. Oh, I thought you wanted to say something. You can tell this
I
is our
wanted to say
first.
something, but
You can tell this is our first podcast, so
yeah.
forgive our crappy. We will learn.
I will also buy a new camera, so this is
Yes.
not the final result.
No. Am I smooth? Because of course, in my on my screen it looks all.
For me, it's smooth. Yeah, so. Oui. Yeah, like, look how my skin is like way. The camera was really bad.
Yeah, well, we'll fix it, and it's getting quite dark now. Let's see, how much time are we already online? Oh, already 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's
But
see
I
how.
think it was also a bad idea to only have three judges. So and one judge was not really into craftsmanship.
No.
So if we had difficulties to decide, we didn't even have a third voice because he was like, "You decide," because I don't know anything about
Yeah, but
crafting.
he kind of also pulled back because he said he was friends with
Yes.
at least three of the contestants. So that is also that's fair to say. It's like, okay, I can't like judge these because they're friends of mine. That's also kind of good. Um, yeah, in the end, we picked our winners, 1, 2, and 3. You can check those out on the Insomnia Egypt website, I believe. I believe all the pictures are up by now.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and then they also had 4 titles, and only one of them. Well, I gave away 2 of my smoke machines, one to the first prize winner, and one to the best craftsmanship. So I'm looking forward to those pictures that they have smoke machines and all that because I can get them from AliExpress and just build them, but yeah, they can't. even from AliExpress. Well, they could, but they probably get taxed like crazy. So yeah. And then I think, what did we do after? Just finished up and we took a lot of pictures, and you went vulgrimming up and did a little walk around.
That was on the third day. We wanted to do it on the second day,
Oh yeah,
but the
yeah,
contest took so long, though.
yeah,
Then it was not in the best condition to
yeah.
work him after that.
The contest kind of got dragged out. Then we it was a tough decision to place the number 2 and 3.
Hmm.
We were quite fast in agreement who won first place. It was a Death Knight, which looked really clean. And yeah, that kind of took long, but then there were also some problems on stage. And in the end, it kind of took so long that cosplayers got kind of fed up with it, and they just got undressed and back into their
Hmm.
normal clothing. And then they kind of, I think they didn't want to do it then on the stage anymore because it was just out of cosplay. But like for the next Insomnia, I would like really like to advise them on uh, have it more structured. So we also have a time schedule. Okay, your verdict needs to be then and then
Hmm.
have it on stage or have it announced. Even if it is at the end of the day, then have it announced like, okay, end of the day it's 6, and then will be the results, because people want to see that. People want to, if they were at the show on like the catwalk and saw all the cosplayers, they want to see who won, and they want to have that moment. And now, for people who are wondering, they just don't know because the final results were at the cosplay booth, and we just did it kind
Mm.
of between all the cosplayers, and cosplay is a big portion for this convention also. So they
Hmm.
really need to incorporate that better and structure it better so that it all happens on the stage the next time.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes.
There was also what was it again? The last category, um, the
Oh,
people's
people's
choice.
choice. Yeah, they had an app, and the photographer made pictures of the cosplayers when their prejudging was over, and it would be immediately uploaded, and people could vote on people's champion.
Mm,
And in the end, I don't know if they ever did anything with it.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. They made something for the audience to interact on the app. So they wrote a certain program for it, and then just nothing. It's just we never saw the results, at least for that one. Maybe
Yes.
afterwards, maybe it still happened, but like if you are a people's choice, then the people there decided, and then the people there never saw it on stage. So if you're gonna like for the next Insomnia, I get this was our first, and it can be chaotic, of course, to put up a new event like this of this magnitude uh, for a country where this is also really new. Um, so yeah, for a lesson learned for next time is have it more structured and stick to your times and really don't push away the cosplayers away from the stage. Just have it on the stage for people to see
Yeah. And
because
safety for
and
cosplayers.
and safety, yes, that stage needs to be on one level and no wires running across it, because if you are even if you're wearing a normal cosplay, like the guy who was cosplaying the action figure Mazinger,
Mm,
he had he was like armored up. He wasn't like super bulky or anything, but he was wearing a helmet. And even if your vision is only impaired by this, you will not see what's here. And then you go like, huh! And they all made like this little step. They could all
yes.
catch
Mm,
themselves in time, but this was a problem. So they really need to, yeah, they need to like level out that stage. That was number one on my list. But
yes.
the announcer was pretty good. He managed to like uplift the crowd. So he
Yeah.
did an okay job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then day three, you went full grimming.
Yes. We had a lot of good helpers with us, so we managed to keep the people away,
Yeah.
and they only got there when they wanted to take a photo. From time to time, there were kids who just ran up to him and touched the wings, like, "We, I can touch the wings when I'm jumping," and then Erfurt got really angry, and I got angry too.
it's
Yeah.
it's sometimes hard with them um, to see when they're angry or not angry because they just talk fast, loud, and they go like da 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 da. And I'm like, is he angry? And I was like, no, I just said hello. I was like,
Yeah,
but that's good.
but German sounds like that too to
Yeah,
them, they said. So mm.
yeah. I had a joke with one of the guys um, where he was talking in Arabic, and I was. It's not. I was not making fun of his language, but I was making fun of him as a joke because he made some weird face, and then he looked at me. He's like, "Are you making fun of my language?" I was like, "No, I was making fun of you." But right then after that, I was speaking Dutch to Angela, and he did the same to me. He's like, "Alaga, alaga, alaga, alaga," because Dutch sounds so alien to them just as much as Arabic sounds alien to us. So we just both went like, "Aga, alaga, alaga, alaga," because it both sounds the same. So that was a good moment.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, and then day three wrapped. I just did
Yes.
some Shrike Anna cosplay. I still managed to get that interview by the staff. Just like the bus was already waiting outside. You had that pretty early in the day. It was like a camera crew working for the organization, and they were like wanted to interview people, but also us as the guests. But
Mm.
I still had to give my workshop, so I didn't have my cosplay on yet. Lara and Daniel did, so they did their interview, and my workshop took forever because they didn't know if it was going to be on stage or not, and blah blah blah. But I
Yes.
managed to, like, 10 minutes before we left, I just, like, cosplay on, camera check, okay, let's go. And then, hi, I'm Wayne, and
Hi.
I'm a
Hello.
cosplayer from the Netherlands. And it all worked out, so.
Um, I don't know if you saw our interview.
No,
Did you see it from?
I saw it from a distance because you were outside of the cosplay area and I was like at our booth, so I didn't
Yeah.
hear you.
No, we just me in the interview was just standing on the chair, and Danny was in the middle because Danny couldn't say anything. He was just like, or that was so good.
He's
I
always
d
like standing like
Yeah.
with his hands going like.
I think they uploaded the interviews 2 hours ago, but I
Really?
can't watch it. I don't want to watch it. I
Oh,
hate to.
really? I have to see that.
I don't
I'll
want to.
watch it and I'll make fun of you if
Okay,
if I see anything.
that's fine.
And yeah, that was then day three. Day three was much more calmer, much more
Yes.
easygoing than day two. But they did expect that already. That's with most
Mm,
conventions, like the day in the middle, uh, like their Saturday, was yeah was the most crowded of all 3 days.
yes.
And then we just ate, and then the next day we got to be tourists, and we went to see the
Yes.
pyramids and rode horses
And camels.
and camels. And the guy, I gave a tip to the guy because he is like he has a camel, and he's like at a nice location where you can take a nice picture while riding a camel, and then you can give him he kind of almost forces you to give him a tip. It's like, I make you happy, you make me happy.
Yay.
Take a picture of you and girlfriend and I was like, yeah,
Not
sure.
not girlfriend,
Um,
wife.
oh yes.
Always
um,
say it's your wife.
yes.
Yes.
I still,
That's
I still,
important.
I still slipped him some money, but he asked for more, and I was like, "Hey, you're pushing your luck there, friend. You'd be glad to get something." I was like, "Oh, okay, 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 okay." And he didn't want anybody to see that I gave him a tip, because what he did is he kind of talked to me like where we were at, and then we kind of walked. I take good picture of you, and you walk me away, and it's like, yeah, you can give me tip, blah 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 blah, and you can put it like, and he pointed at where my legs were over like the saddle, and there was like a small baggy thing between
Oh.
like the towels or the rags that were over it, and he asked me like, yeah, you can like put it in there. And I was like, okay,
Mm.
you probably don't want your friends to see this, but it's fine. And so and they're all like a little bit of hush hush and secret with all their tips and money and cash stuff.
You need to prepare just a few papers and just put a paper inside of them. That's mean, but it's funny somehow.
Just a paper with yeet.
Yeet.
And then oh, what's my tip? He's like, God damn it.
Yeet. Okay, again. Fuck.
I got yeeted. But yeah,
Or just
then
like this.
the thing I regret though is because we had a photo shoot and I rode a camel with Shrike Anna, but I left my teacup at home. That would have been the best shot. Just riding the
Yes.
camel and be like,
Yeah,
have the teacup. That was just stupid that I left it at
that
home.
was sad.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a photo shoot. That's
Yeah, we still need to wait for the photos.
yes,
I
they will
think
be online.
I think last time it took him 4 or 5 weeks.
Well, you can take a study. That's
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yes, we can wait.
Yeah, even the unedited photos that he just showed us on like this camera screen already looked really good. So yeah.
Yes.
And then we went into town and we had proper Egyptian food, which was really good. I had um, intestine filled with a rice filling that I really liked, and other people were like, "Ew, I don't want to try this."
I ate that last time too, and I liked it, but I couldn't eat because
No,
of the
you
yeah
were getting quite sick
yeah
already, like when we were driving. Like at the hotel,
yeah
you were pretty okay, and then it just went off. And Angela was already sick in the desert
yeah.
because yeah, no food, no drink. Well, we had drink, we had water, but yeah, just water. So yeah, and then the next day was the fly day, and I gave the rifle to our contact Ahmed
Mhm.
because I didn't want a repeat of that story, and it was already broken the gun. So I
Yes.
was like, yeah, this will break more. So you glue it here and here, and just hang it on your wall, and you're happy, and I'm happy, and I'll print a new one or something. And yeah, now he has a Shrike gun that I left in Egypt. So yeah. And then we flew back and we played one round of Mario Party and then nothing.
Yeah, but the back, it was for me just like 2 hours.
No
The
what?
the way there was pretty long for me, or I felt it was pretty long. And the way back, it was just yay, hey, we're
Yeah,
back, and you
yeah. I thought we were gonna be heavily delayed when we went from Cairo to Vienna. We only had like 20 minutes to get to our next flight, and so we already rushed and we only said a quick goodbye in the video of in the plane going like, yeah, okay, bye, we need to go now. So we need to
Mm.
get off this plane, but there was this huge security checkpoint
Oh yeah.
afterwards. Yeah, you were probably in there also.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we arrived there, we saw you going to the desk.
Yeah, yeah, he even pulled me out of the line, and I had to go like okay, and he frisked me, and then he went like, you have your belt, and then he went like his hands behind the belt, and then like feeling, and he was like okay, this is getting intense, and he was like, please remove your belt, sir. I was like, oh god damn it. It's like, I had to take my whole belt off, and he's like even more frisking, turn around, frisk, and I was like, oh, we're gonna miss our plane, damn it. And we arrived still on time, and they were still boarding. Maybe they kind of delayed it. I don't know. We still managed to take it, but then we overheard other Dutch people saying like, "Oh, I'm glad we made it because this is the last flight to Amsterdam." I was like, "Oh fuck! If we missed that, we would have been stuck in Vienna for a day." I'd be like, "Okay, we'll live in the airport for a day."
Yeah, for us it was a little bit tricky because there was a flight at 7 that was going to Düsseldorf at 10 minutes after 7, at 20 minutes after 7.
Damn.
And we had the 20 minutes after 7 flight, and they were all at a completely different gate. And so we asked a lady at the desk because there was no sign which gate, and she was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's at I think it was C30." And then we're like, "Ah, maybe we should check another screen somewhere." And then we saw it was at the F gate, and that's we are only at 10 minutes left
Yeah.
to go to the gate. Yeah, and if we would have ran to the C gate, we would have missed our flight.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It all worked out in the end. The flight back was indeed much more fast and better than. I think I'll never have a more difficult flight than traveling to Egypt or traveling even wanting to travel to Vienna first, which resulted in first going to Frankfurt. So yeah, I'll probably never take fake cosplay weapons on international flights ever again. It's just too much of a hassle. Even though it is allowed, it is so much of a hassle. I
yeah,
mean, they still have to book it in the system as a fake weapon, not even like a toy, as like they label it as fake between like the fake and a weapon. So like even if they see already the word weapon, all the alarm bells go off, and it's just too much. So and for the most part, the rifle laid on the table anyway. Yeah, it looks nice in pictures, but yeah, it was. If I had to do it again, I probably would have left that rifle home and just
Mm-hmm.
printed her sidearm, the
Mm.
the paralyzer stun gun thing, and then probably not say anything.
Yeah.
Because if it goes through like a metal detector, it doesn't go off. There's
Yeah.
no
It's no
explosives or
matter.
whatever in there. It's just a piece of plastic, so it will be
Yeah.
fine. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll never say I'm carrying fake weapons.
Yeah. But I think also the problem with Anna is that the weapon looks too real.
Yeah, it does. It does. And then it's through 3D printed, so it has a lot of detail. And then
Yeah.
you're like, it's
Yeah.
even the clip I can remove, and it's like, yeah, it's for them. It's too real.
Yes.
Can you see, by the way, if there was anything in the chat room? Because I haven't been checking chat, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it's like.
We had a few people.
Oh, really? I didn't even. For mine, at my phone, it's just blank, so I don't think it
Oh.
responds all that well. Were there any questions that we ignored?
Um. No.
Or just
It's
many?
just gremlin lady. Yeah.
You can tell we're new at this, so
Maybe
you're.
it's an idea to like put the chat in the screen.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
can't.
maybe.
I can't do that. Then I guess you have to do that because I have to keep it full screen because
Mm.
I'm uploading it from my end. So right now I'm only looking at the actual thing that is streaming, and that's the full screened Discord thing. So
Mm.
yeah, that's a good one for the next time. You're doing fine. Thank you, Angelus Imkas. So that's nice to hear. So
Yes.
yes. So yeah, we want to make this a kind of a bi-weekly thing, not every week because we still have jobs to do and commissions to
Yes.
make and pictures to take and all that and a life to live. So we'll try the bi-weekly thing, but yeah, we started um, this podcast as something to have over here on like this side of the planet. So once this does gain more traction, that people can just join in the stream and actually participate live. Because I know that all the live streams of the people that of the people that I follow that do live streams, either in podcast form or just crafting streams, it's all in America. And yeah, I can watch those back, and I do, but you can never interact live with them. I
Mm.
can never like go like, hey, what you making, or hello everybody. It's always because then I'm sleeping and it's like 3 a.m. in the morning, and over there it's like 8 and they just started their stream, and there is no interaction. It's most of it is all America based. So that's why we wanted to start something over here, so that it
Yeah.
because I don't actually know of any podcasts that are based in the EU.
Yeah. Only the German one I told you about, but
Yeah,
it's German.
yeah,
So.
it's just German. in on this side of the planet in English, so that like the all grand EU can listen in.
Can't EU.
So
And
cosplay,
our maybe our Egyptian friends.
yes, yes. They are still in our time zone. I'm sure
Yes.
some. I got some messages from Egyptian cosplayers today. It's like, hey, what time will you stream? So I'm sure they watched. I see
Yeah.
Angelus Imcos. So cosplay used to stream, and she's from France. So cosplay at double O. Okay, used to stream, and she's from France, but she's trying to get her business going, so she hasn't done any streaming lately. Did she do it in French, or was that also in English? Asking the important questions.
Mm.
Yeah, because
Yeah, but streaming and podcasting is not the same in this case.
yeah. I mean, I know that there are plenty of people that do um, like
Crafting streams. Yeah.
crafting streams,
Mm.
and a lot of that gets done. But what at least what I envision this is uh, just a hangout. It's just us two talking about, cosplay, what maybe a project is we're doing, or what we're about to do,
Hmm.
events coming up. Maybe there are some certain hot topics like in the scene that are happening that we can discuss. Maybe sometimes have guests over in the show, and we talk about how they got into cosplay and all of that stuff. If you don't, there is a podcast that I follow, and they haven't uploaded in a while now because they're both like extremely busy. It's Craft and Geek by Core Geek and Jackie Craft. Awesome podcast. And they have guests over, and they just sit in their workshops and they talk. It's like, hey, what's going on? And people interact with them, and they can ask them live the questions if they're having some trouble with building or certain techniques, and it's just a fun hangout, and it's just I know that when I had low motivation to build anything, I just put on a podcast and hear other makers talk about making stuff, and then it's like, hey, now I'm getting like the jitters to like,
Motivation.
yes, it's just like, I need to go to the shop, and yeah, that works for me. So I'm sure I'm not the only one in this, and
The meme with the foam. I
yes.
want to buy foam, but you already have foam. But I want it.
They have real EVA foam. Use the
Yes.
foam you have. I'm going to the cosplay shop. Shout out to cosplay shop Flex Style. He made the name. Depends.
Unpaid advertisement.
Yes, unpaid advertisement. We do this willingly. But you
Yes.
can send me free foam. That's fine.
Yeah. Here, I have a lot of space in my room for free foam. Fill it.
We used up a lot of foam. Depends whether there were English-speaking users in chat. She usually switched to English for an international crowd. True, there's not many podcasts like you guys are planning. Yeah, that's just yeah. I had the idea of doing something like this for a while, but I just didn't want to do it alone, and I really didn't know who to ask or who to do it with. And then I started working more with Lara, and I was like, hey, I have this idea. Maybe you're in, and she is.
Yes. Heat.
So yeah, Hotglue is hot. We are already streaming for 1 hour and 10 minutes, so I think we should wrap it up for now for the first one.
Yes.
You maybe it's a good idea to I'll upload this to the YouTube channel. People, you can, if you watched it and you have some suggestions or tips, or you want to, maybe you want a certain subject to be discussed next time, or more about us, how we got into cosplay, or hey, I'm working on this and this, and could you tell us more about this material? I mean, we both made plenty of costumes. We both like the same materials, but also different materials. So you might have questions that I have answers to, and vice versa, that she has answers to and I don't. So leave those in the comments or send them to our inboxes, and yeah, we will see you then in about maybe 2 weeks. So
Yes.
thank you all for watching, and see you next time.
Heat.
And remember, hot glue is hot. Lame. Yeet.
Yeet.
Yeet.